As someone who was born in Utah, but spent my childhood living out of the state, only to return on a permanent basis in the year 2000, and as a real estate agent who often works with people moving here from out of state, I'm frequently told what people who are moving here think. So I have a somewhat unique perspective. When this video is over, you should have a pretty good idea of what it's like to live in Utah. Hi, I'm Ty the Real Estate Guy, and I passionately love my Utah home. But today, I'm going to give you the laundry list of reasons why you don't want to live in Utah. If you'd like to stay up to date on the latest home building and real estate tips and trends, subscribe to my channel and ring that little bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Before I start, I just want to clarify that not all items on this list are bad things. These are just complaints I often hear from those who live here and those who are visiting or moving here from out of state. To many of you, some of the negatives on this list may actually be positives. And even though some of the items on the list are disappointing or not exactly what you would hope for, Utah is still an incredible place to live. So what the heck? Let's get started. Number one, the weather. Utah gets crazy cold and scorching hot, often on the same day. Utah has some pretty extreme weather. You could spend weeks in sub-freezing temperatures during the winter, and in the summer will easily break 100 degrees. So if you move here, you'll need to pack snow boots and flip-flops, a coat and tank tops, a beanie, and a sun visor. Do people still wear sun visors? Anyway, you get the point. One of the complaints I hear most often is the extreme and often unpredictable weather. Utah's weather can turn on and off like a light switch. So when you plan an outdoor activity in Utah, especially in the spring or the fall, you always need to pack a jacket. And while we're on the subject of weather, I should warn you about number two, the snow. Utah gets a crap load of the white stuff. As a matter of fact, Utah is famous for our powder, and our snow is one of the main reasons Salt Lake hosted the 2002 Olympics. Many say we have the greatest snow on earth. For those moving here, especially to the Salt Lake region, it's important to know that the city is right up against the mountains. Living this close to the Wasatch Mountain Range at an elevation of approximately 4,200 feet means you'll definitely want to be prepared to live and drive in the snow. And after a long winter, you'll most likely think Utah snow is not the greatest thing on earth. Speaking of weather, the next thing on my list comes as a huge surprise to many. Number three, Utah is dry. It's a little known fact that Utah is the second driest state in the country. Due to the dryness, we often get wildfires. Also, during the dry season, summer in other words, often we're not allowed to have campfires or do fireworks due to the fire hazard. That can be a huge bummer. We actually live in a desert mountain region. Often, you don't put mountains and deserts together. It's almost an oxymoron, like non-working mom, cafeteria food, or non-alcoholic beer. Seriously though, don't forget your lotion or chapstick because your lips will crack and your skin will get dry and scaly. Speaking of dry and alcohol, let's move on to number four, strict liquor laws. Yes, Utah is known for its rigid liquor laws. If you love to drink, you might not like living here. Liquor is often missing at neighborhood parties or other gatherings. As a matter of fact, you might not feel accepted if you love to drink. Seriously though, Utah is a dry state for two reasons. That being said, just like anywhere else in the world, if you're looking for it, you'll find it. But of course, this leads me to number five, lack of nightlife. Once again, if you're looking for it, you'll find it. But Utah is lacking in bars and nightclubs. I mean, the city pretty much shuts down by 9 or 10 p.m., even on the weekends. Number six, there are kids everywhere. If you don't like kids, you might consider a different state. Utah is consistently ranked as number 1 or number 2 for the highest birth rate in the country. There are loads of large families here. 4 to 5 kids is pretty common, but don't be surprised to find families with 10 or even 12 kids. Seriously. The largest city in the state is Salt Lake City, named after the Great Salt Lake, which I'm not really going to talk about, but the lake is really salty, and the only thing great about it is its vastness. The population of Salt Lake City and its suburbs is well over 1 million people, and statewide, Utah is home to more than 3.2 million people. Our crazy birth rate contributes to one of Utah's biggest problems. Number 7, road construction. This crazy high organic growth rate, plus Utah's consistent ranking of one of the best job markets in the country, means we're having trouble keeping up with the population growth. That equals constant road construction. Yes, it's a problem. You always need to leave the house early because you never know when or where road construction will pop up, delaying you yet again. Seriously though, I'm considering a petition to make road cones Utah's state flower. Number 8, Utah has horrible drivers. Mix the bad drivers with road construction and you'll have one of the worst places in the United States to drive. I mean, the state has done a great job building wide roads and with public transportation, but pretty much everyone I know owns a car, and if you move here, you'll have a tough time getting around without one. Statistically speaking, Utah is consistently ranked among the worst in the nation in both automobile accidents and rudeness of drivers. Before I continue, can I ask a quick favor? Will you please give this video a thumbs up? I would appreciate that more than you know, and that thumbs up will help others see that this video is helpful. Thanks. Number 9, Utah is very conservative. This is one of the hardest things for many newbies to get used to, especially our brothers and sisters from California. Seriously though, if you move here, you're not going to be able to change it. So just accept the fact that Utahns are conservative and understand that they will fight to keep it that way. Number 10, Utah has a very high percentage of Mormons, or members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, currently around 50%. Why? Because Mormons were the first settlers to the area. I mean, after the Native Americans, of course. I'm still trying to figure out why people think this is a bad thing, or why they're afraid of living among the LDS culture. That being said, members of the LDS religion are sometimes overly friendly, and some people complain that members of the LDS faith are closed-minded. I guess the other complaint is that there doesn't seem to be much of a separation between church and state. As a side note, along with living among the LDS culture, you're going to hear strange words or phrases, especially when it comes to cussing. You'll often hear Utahns say things like, "What the fetch?" "Frick," "Heck," "Flippin'," "Gosh darn," and etc. If you'd like to know more about how Utahns talk, or if you're just curious, when you're done with this video, you may want to watch my video, How to Talk Like a Utahn. I'll put a link to this video below. Number 11, poor air quality. Sadly, some people just can't live here, at least not in the Salt Lake Valley. The bad air often gets trapped between the mountains, and we often spend weeks living in the smog. Yeah, it sucks. But that being said, there are some beautiful locations to live not too far from the city. Number 12, the crime rate. Utah is actually one of the safest places to live in the country, as we rank very low in violent crimes. But there is one surprising and disappointing statistic. If you move here, there's a very high chance that something you own will be stolen. That's right. Utah ranks among the worst in the country for theft. In all honesty, I'm not really aware of the theft problems where I live, but my guess is that Utahns are overly trusting, and kids often leave their bikes, skateboards, or other toys just lying around, which makes it just too easy. Seriously though, when you move here, you'll be shocked at how many bikes are just left sitting in people's front yards. Number 13, depression. This is probably the most disturbing one for me. Most people I meet seem really happy, so it's a surprise to learn of this depressing statistic. I'm guessing the depression comes from the fact that many people who live here seem to have the perfect life. When you look around, everyone seems to be really, really happy. So I can see people looking around and thinking, how come my life isn't like that? Or is it just the weather? What would I know? Anyway, I could go on, but I always do my best to keep my videos short and concise. So here's a short list of a few last reasons not to move to Utah or Salt Lake City. There's a lack of cultural diversity. This has actually gotten a lot better over the years, but there's still a long way to go. Also, it's quickly becoming a less affordable place to live as home prices and the cost of rent are increasing faster than wages. Also, some people aren't comfortable with the number of guns in the state. A remarkably high percentage of Utahns have a concealed weapons permit, which means anyone around you could be carrying. Finally, people new to Utah often get lost because of our unique city grid system. Home addresses often don't have street names and instead look something like 1142 West, 2200 South. Once you figure out the whole address thing, it actually becomes easier to find your way around, but it will be frustrating at first. I always hate to take a negative approach to things or even talk about the bad, but the truth must be told. If you'd like to know why Utah is a great place to live, watch my video, Moving to Utah, 10 Reasons Utah is Great. I'll put links to my recommended videos below. Is there something in this video that really stood out to you as being helpful? If so, what was it? Please let me know by commenting below. If you have questions or if I left something out, please help the community by leaving a remark below as well. Sincerely, I want to hear from you. If you know someone that's moving to Utah, be a friend by sharing this video with them. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.